Have you had a good morning session? Lunch was awesome. I am between you, another panel, and maybe some beer or a cocktail. But I'm going to be talking to you about the most exciting thing in my life and probably in yours that's about to come. Firstly, I'm deeply appreciative of the opportunity to be here. I want to say thank you to the NAMLS team. I mean, what a great location. I mean, Frank Lloyd Wright, right? You get design right, you get creative right, you inspire us, and this is a location where we can do that. It's an amazing opportunity to, follow on between, I don't know, the best known company in the world, and with Alyssa Taylor, and then the second most known company in the world, McDonald's, right? That's a pretty big moment. They are pushing marketing right to the edge. They're two leaders that I deeply admire, and they are really defining what's possible in marketing. I want to pick up exactly where they left off. And so I'm going to take you on a journey. It's going to be really practical. We're going to actually do real demos. In fact, we're going to do 3 of them. I'm sure many of you have heard the notion that you don't work with pets in entertainment and you don't do live demos in front of live crowds. We're going to do 3. So I'm going to show you what AI actually is. I'm going to describe agentic. We're going to make a creative brief. We're going to show insight. We're going to pick on Cisco and Fortinet, and that's going to be a bit of fun if you're from Palo Alto Networks. I'm sure you're out there. And then we're going to make stuff. We're actually going to do some marketing, because I think it's important that we actually see the outputs rather than talk about it. I believe we're in this really unique position as marketers right now. It's an age of imagination. It's a rise of the creative class. Think about your jobs. How many of you got into marketing to make a marketing qualified lead? Right? I got into marketing because I was passionate about telling stories about brands, about companies, and about the people that use them. I often tell a story to my own family. I fell in love with toner working on HP. It's the most... that tells you the kind of human I am. I really wanted to tell the story about how it moved and how valuable it was. We define our future right now. What we envision as marketers will come true. And those that are successful in actually driving that will thrive. And so I invite you to be part of that story right now. Wow, that's a bummer. This is Sam Altman. I think some of you know OpenAI. Anyone use it? 800 million people use it. He said, all of us in this room, our jobs will be eliminated. Then MIT recently came out with a study that said 95% of generative AI pilots were failing. This was a survey, don't trust surveys, to 53 executives. How many people read that? Check your facts. I'm pretty sure, 99% sure, that that's not right. Let me tell you why. I'm going to take you back to when I was probably a little bit thinner and had some hair. I'm in Australia. I'm just wrapping up an industrial relations law degree, and I leave college. My dad is furious. He's like, son, what are you doing? I've fallen in love with the internet, and I'm determined that I'm going to sell it, introduce it, bring it to people in Australia. So I start selling the internet door to door. Some people thought that was a fad. They're like, you're crazy. The people that leaned into that fad created companies like Amazon, Google, Apple. AI feels exactly like that right now. It's deeply misunderstood. It's underhyped. Everyone's like, oh, it's amazing. No, it's going to be more amazing. What you're seeing right now is the tip of the iceberg. This is the worst version of AI that you're going to experience, and it's pretty good. There's a lot of fear around it and misconception, but the upside is enormous, and I want us to embrace that. I knew as I was selling door to door, the internet, I had this light bulb moment. Oh my God, the internet's going to be like electricity. It's going to be a utility. It's going to be everywhere. AI is going to be an ingredient in all of our lives. It's being put into the software by Alyssa. It's being put into the applications. Maybelline, what a great example. I don't know if I was like, wow, I want to buy lipstick. Right? It's being put into the very fabric of the things that we're doing, right? So embrace it. Know that this is the new electricity, and it's coming. And in fact, it's here. I'm a marketer like you. The introduction was great. Thanks, Marnie. I appreciate that. I've worked with CMOs championing their agendas, and I'm passionate about it. I've been lucky enough to work inside agencies that serve these brands as well. This is my second AI company, right? I'm not turning up here talking about generative AI. I'm talking about context. The things that we put into these systems right now, our brands, and you know the brand that you are all developing, what we're leading, what we're making, what we're creating, is the ultimate context. It is the prompt. Your brand is the prompt. I want you to keep that inside as you go back to your companies and you start thinking about, well, what new tool can I add into my technology stack? What can I do for my brand? Start there. Alyssa's, her keynote, I didn't pay her, but she essentially said, AI is about human productivity and unlocking human creativity. That's the vision of our company. We believe that technology and AI will unlock our ability to create more, to do more, to make more, to say more. And simply, we're here to empower marketers. We're focused on you. We're not here transforming work. We're not interested in changing the world. We're interested in changing your lives. Every day, we turn up thinking about the work that you do, and that's what we're interested in. We work with some of the largest brands. So we're not an academic company. We're a company that's working with Microsoft to power their marketing when they talk about agentic AI. Amazon to help them launch generative. And so we're super excited about the abilities of real AI being deployed. So how do we know that our jobs are not all at threat? Well, remember, door knocking. Would you like the internet? We saw that. That was 30 years ago. Data wasn't just about precision. It was about valuing our work, right? We built infrastructure. We try to prove with attribution. And now I know in my bones, like in my very bones, that AI feels a lot like these two big transformations. So I have a lot of faith that we've seen this before and we can master it. Someone asked a question this morning, and I particularly wanted to address this question. The uncomfortable truth about AI right now, jobs are changing. All right? Pre-internet, we had typesetters. Anyone know a typesetter? You know, one of Lane's first jobs in advertising was standing next to a fax machine, right? Just to make sure that the faxes got done in advertising. Internet arrives. everyone turns into digital marketers. We all know how to do banner advertising. We're building content. Suddenly email's a thing. It's awesome. Then data arrives. We're all revenue leaders. Basically the content marketers have become content strategists. They're journey mappers. We're building UX. We're iterators, right? We as marketers are on the front lines of that change. What happens in AI? We are responsible for our own destinies. We're going from being the marketer to the maker. And I think you heard that this morning, it was just really exciting, right? The responsibility to not be the person behind the procurement system or managing the agency, but to actually coming up with the ideas. That's mildly terrifying for people. Like, let's be honest, right? The marketing operations teams, what do we do? How do we transform them? What's our responsibility as leaders to do that? But there's a space for you, but you have to be active and you have to use the tools. So let's get into it. What is agentic AI? We've heard a lot about it. It's not this. This is a chatbot, right? And we're training ourselves to understand AI through the lens of Sam Altman.
I'm thinking of starting a business where I turn French fries into salad.
Honestly, I think that's a pretty creative culinary twist. Turning French fries into salad sounds like a magical transformation where guilty pleasure meets healthy-ish vibes.
You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, it sounds like a deconstructed comfort food. Let's dive into a business proposal and have some fun shaping it up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And LLMs agree with you. It's awesome. So that whole process of, I have an idea, what goes into the actual machine is what really matters. The context around our brand, the context around our competitors, the revenue, who do we want to take market share from? What's our strategy? What's our human strategy? There's some really simple definitions that I think are important, and I don't expect you to read them, but artificial intelligence is really, it's a system that can look at large, complex data sets and create predictions from it. Agents do things. Agent, like agencies, they actually have a task to complete. And so they go out in an autonomous fashion and actively complete those tasks. Create a customer journey, go and get me my weekly news around my competitor set. All of that is driven by this idea of context, right? We're in the world of generative AI, which really is these first generation companies, and you're hearing about them. There's companies like Writer that many people are talking about. It's a generative AI company, right? And it's helping to drive workflows. They don't have the data, right? You have the data, and context companies have the data. That's going to become really, really important. So making decisions about, have I got the right data in the right places? I don't need to make the case, right? When I look at what's happening with AI, I really look at three lenses, and I think Alyssa talked a little bit about it. Agility, efficiency, and impact. Just getting faster is a fundamental benefit, right? So instead of having to do qualitative research, I'm actually getting to the answer more quickly. My starting point is happening ahead of all of the other sort of research. It doesn't mean you throw qualitative research out. No, you actually put qualitative research to work for you in the right places, but you have better starting points. We're seeing that efficiency. I mean, I could talk about my own company. I saw 168 X improvement in my ability to get strategy to my customers. And my whole strategy organization is now my CS organization. Right? Shifting jobs. We've seen huge production benefits. And then ultimately, from an impact perspective, we've seen revenue, CAC going down, and ultimately ROI going up. And we all want that, right? But we didn't get into marketing to build marketing qualified leads. We're the problem, right? The reason we're struggling is because we've got sequential, manual, slow processes. And we've got ultimately a system that's built for the 1900s, and we're trying to deploy technologies that are built for the future. We have to change, right? We actually have to actively rewire our thinking. We have to rewire our systems. And ultimately, the reason AI pilots don't succeed is because of us. How's it changed? Look, you can identify an objective now, and it's coming to you. You can connect your data sources, your first-party data, your sales data, your CRM data, everything that is known about your company. You can connect that into systems, and then you can supplement it with context, human and machine-based. You can simulate audiences. We're going to do a message test. And then you can choose whatever practice, best practice. If you're a McKinsey or you're Bain or you like Digitas's marketing approach or P&G's, you can select it and you can apply it. And then you can create at scale and distribute. The thing that we're all not focused on is the context-aware system. There's a little company called Progressive. Does anyone get insurance from them? They spent $2.4 billion last year on infrastructure to do that, right? We don't all have $2.4 billion, but the systems of learning are coming, and we're not keeping up, right? Because technology is moving at a pace that we struggle. When I go out and I talk to marketers and I speak to them, I really see two conditions as marketers. The first is you're a dabbler, or you're really focused and you're using AI to disrupt. Let's talk about what they look like. So you might be in a company today and your CEO has probably sent an email. You might be at Shopify and it sounds something like this. We're not going to do any more hiring until you can prove to me that the work can't be done by AI. You've probably got a council. They like the Jedi Council. Largely, responsible for AI, slow, mysterious, and you don't know how to get anything through them. You're all using ChatGPT outside of your enterprise because you don't have it inside your enterprise. And you're still reliant on these analog processes because you need agencies to get work done because that's how we've done it. And we just simply don't have enough capabilities and skills because we haven't learnt them. And we're checking the box because our boss said, you need to have AI in you. So when Alyssa turns up and she says, well, we're at Microsoft and we're leading the world, this is what they really mean. They've got leadership alignment across disciplines. Your CFO is making investments in AI technologies. The CMO is a champion. They're horizontal. There are no vertical lines in the business. They're actually thinking horizontally across how do we create demand and then how do we activate on it. They're embedding technology everywhere and insight as a whole. And they're investing in their own marketing capabilities. So remember that question we got asked earlier this morning? Where are the jobs going? They're coming in-house, right? If we take them and we make ourselves ready for it. Okay, so tonight over your beer or your cocktail, hopefully, ask yourself that question. What am I? What do I want to be? How do I really capitalize on it? So when I'm talking to marketers, and I'm talking to the Amazons and the Microsofts and everyone that's deploying technology, and I'm seeing four emergent themes. The first is we've got to get our data ready, and that's really hard, right? So that means going beyond your CRM data and having your chief data officer say, well, we've got to protect that data. No, you have to make that data accessible and ready, and you have to be bringing new data to the equation. Things like revenue, market intelligence, competitive intelligence, qualitative research, synthetic audiences, all of that has to be in a place that's readily available by LLMs. Marketer as the maker is front and center. Every company I'm in, it's like, how do we get our marketers to be at the point of creation faster? How do we actually give them the tools to do the job of marketing? I often challenge the CEOs in those companies. How do you actually create the space for your marketers to do that? How do you take the pressure off demand generation and marketing qualified leads so they can actually do their jobs? This is central to the theme. The faster you get there, the better the stability of your career. System thinking, we talked about progressive, but even companies like OpenAI are taking a system and ecosystem approach, and we'll talk about that. The last is, and the thing that I get most excited about, is this, brand storytelling, right? It's the expectation, LLMs learn by stories. That's how they learn. So if you're a marketer, telling a great story, making it available, only is going to be beneficial to you from an AI perspective, but it's also going to be beneficial to you from a demand perspective. So really excited to see that back across B2B and B2C. I'm not going to harp too much on this because I actually want to get to some tools. All three of these companies, forward-leaning organizations, what do they look like? Deep industry expertise at the top, because AI supercharges that. Product marketers coming to the forefront as the leaders, deeply integrating AI and leading with data. So if you're at AWS or you're at Azure or you're at Google, you're using your search data and you're bringing your first-party data, that's their first-party data, to bear in their marketing. And so very, very front and center for the most progressive companies. Unilever, awesome example of, let's talk about getting people ready. 25,000 people trained on AI fluency. They did that with master classes. They spend $2.2 billion on advertising. They've built a content factory built on their own agentic model, and it's driving cost out of the business. But what does 27% in cost do to $2.2 billion? It's pretty significant, right? You can put more media in market, you can hire more people, you can offset and train your organization, or you can take it to the bottom line. They're already built this into their systems, and they're custom tuning their own models for their own brands, for their thousands of brands that they work with. OpenAI, I think, is a really good reflection of what's going on in the market. OpenAI has built an ecosystem, 800 million users. They are monetizing it. They're going directly after Google's business, Microsoft's business. They're building low-code applications. They're hiring capabilities, and launching businesses. And they're hiring growth roles. It's interesting to focus on content. Okay, I'm going to keep moving so we can actually get to some of the demos. These use cases are the things that I focus on. If you're a marketer, marketing strategy development, brand measurement, beyond surveys, getting accelerated competitive intelligence, we're going to show you that. Actual positioning, developing content, and then creative automation and media optimization. It's not theory, it's here. So let's go play with it. Let's go and put it to work. Brian, my good friend, is up the back. So before we do that, I'm going to show you something that was made with AI. And I'm going to show you my toolkit. This is what I use as a marketer every day. BlueOcean for inspiration. I have a lot of board meetings as a CEO. I use OpenAI for simulation. Claude's become my writing partner. Grammarly was previously, but I find Claude to be better. Gamma, we're going to show it to you. And then image and video production, I'm going to show you something that VO just made, and then actually making applications. So let's go. This was made, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
The banana isn't meant to be eaten, it's meant to rot, slowly decaying in plain sight. It's a depiction of life itself.
This is Heineken Zero. It's alcohol-free.
Isn't it marvelous?
And this is a Heineken. This is Nick.
In any saturated market, you don't fight for space, you stack value. So we put both bottles in the same script. 2 demographics, 1 ad buy.
Hear me out, Nick. A flamingo as a pet? Wouldn't that be kinda amazing?
Honestly, Zoe, flamingo feels on brand for you. Elegant, dramatic, and kind of terrifying. So, why a flamingo, if I can ask?
It's kind of a long story.
I love you, my baby, Zoe. You're the 0.0 to my 100.
Nick, are you insane?
Heineken. Enjoy both sides of life.
Right, made in days. And that's the worst AI is going to be. Right, that's the worst. Okay, Brian. Okay, we're going to take you into, and this, I've got 8 minutes and I've really got 12 minutes to do it, so let's see if I can do it. Our unique context, we're going to act as Cisco. We measure brands. I'm not going to take you into the whole measurement framework, come and find me afterwards, but we can see that our friends at Fortinet have got an awareness issue. We've got a pretty strong trust basis. We use this as the context, the unique context, bringing in 3,000 data sources into a model to drive real activity. Okay, Brian, let's go into Spark. So this is our custom trained LLM. It's trained on 5,000 questions that marketers have asked us over the last 5 years. It's got a reasoning model before it. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a marketing strategy to defeat Fortinet. We're going to use all the resources that are available in the system. Feel free to help us accelerate our market dominance. What makes it agentic? Let's have a look. Under the hood here, we actually show you our thought process. So what's actually happening here is we've got an orchestration agent, which is a CMO agent. I've got a task. Start building the context that I've given you. Let me actually get the competitive analysis. And it's going to start using that context to start making an actual competitive and marketing strategy. So we're going to let that run. I'm going to take you, in like every good cooking show, I'm going to pull something out of the oven that I made earlier. So just keep an eye on the timestamps, and you can actually see how long this took, right? Same query, the thought process. Let's just scroll down as we go down. It's bringing in brand data. So we're looking at Blue Score, we're looking at historical trend data. We're bringing in some areas of opportunity. We've got a sentiment problem, by the way, Cisco. But really the opportunity is this AI native platform. In the next 5 minutes, we're going to do something with that. As we go down, it's got implementation roadmaps, it's got the resource allocation for the strategy, and it's got sources, real sources. So we're going to create a messaging and positioning framework. Takes some companies 14 weeks, takes some others 3 weeks. This took 2 minutes, right? So doing everything from understanding, this is a prompt that we've created at BlueOcean, and it has everything from target audience. This is what it's producing. An actual messaging framework, perspective from the company, a great tagline, security that thinks faster than threats. Is that good? Great. The actual long-form messaging, pain points, statistics, value mapping, value proposition mapping, all of our capabilities lined up against it, benefit statements, target audience, right? Prioritization of target audience, which I think is really interesting. So CISOs are the target audience for this. We might roll forward a little bit, Bri, if we can. I didn't have time to message test. I don't have the money to go and actually do message testing. This is simulated testing. It's actually taken a CISO, turned it into a simulated test. It's actually said the messaging works. That's good enough for me to take it to the next level. And then we're actually taking all of the competitive test. It's coming back with optimization recommendations. Let's go and create a campaign brief. That's the next thing I want to do, because I want to give this to my internal agency who's awesome. It's set up the revenue targets, a market share goal, current position, using the targeting and messaging strategy, industry adaptions, the actual channels with media spend, breakdown, locations and geographies, metrics. Awesome. Okay, so now you've gone from an insight, context, remember, to something that's actually usable, specific, and valuable to marketers. You can share that. We've got 2,700 different connectors that you can actually just take it, share it in Teams, take it to Slack, whatever you use to actually communicate and collaborate. You can download it. It's ready for you. There's a Spark, the message that we actually used to generate it. If you go down, this is the actual brief. May not be 100% right. You still have to have your hands on the wheel. We still want you involved. Great, okay, let's go to one of those tools that I talked about. This is Gamma. I use this to create presentations. You drop the creative brief in, you say, great, let's generate. We're gonna do this so we're right now, how many people use Gamma? Awesome, okay. I don't usually, market for other companies, but I'm doing it right now. This is happening in real time. Right, I've got 2 minutes left. Let's actually go and build an application. In that creative brief, we said ROI for industry really mattered. How many of you created a TCO calculator for a campaign? Or a total investment kind of calculator? Worst nightmare ever. It takes like 8 weeks. You have to communicate with engineering people. Like everyone argues over how much what the calculation looks like. You can never describe what you want. Let's go, Brian. We're now actually going to create the actual application. This is vibe coding. How many of you have done it? Go home. Go to Lovable. Go, I want to create a schedule for my son. I want to send annoying tweets to my son. I want to send text. Or I want to remind my child to clean his room on a bi-weekly basis. You can build an application that can do that on behalf of you right now. Or you could go and build an ERP system like SAP. Oof. Here's the presentation for your creative briefs, so you never have to really worry about how long is this going to take. If you don't like the images, great, change them. If you want your style guide in there, put it in. Gamma's awesome. And we've just saved, I don't know, how long does it take you guys to get a creative brief out? Weeks? Months? Let's focus on the customer insight that goes into that brief. Let's go and do the qualitative research. I've got 24 seconds left. Let's build this. Show all, Brian. Show me, show me. We're almost there. I got 11 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6. I've got a meeting with the CMO. Come on. And I'm at time, but what you're going to see very shortly is an actual application. And we're going to publish it. You're going to be able to use it. And there's nothing stopping you guys doing this, right? There's absolutely nothing stopping you having the ball. Okay. Here we go. I've created something. Oh, there we go. Ding, ding. Let's go. Preview it. Oh, security that thinks faster than threats. Mobily responsive. And available. So you all just created, you went from insight to action using context. You're all now AI experts. Awesome. Well, thank you for having me.